Yeah, Jackie!
Growing up, I always asked questions. I'd say, I just wanted to know why. I'd say, Dad, why did he say that? How do you know that's a penalty? What's the difference between a fastball and a knuckle curve? Well, my father never hesitated. He never thought, well, why does she need to know? She's not supposed to know or even care. Instead, my father answered every single one of my queries. But one day, I understood my place. I remember it clearly, and I remember it well. Ah, that feels better. So, it was my freshman year, and it was the 2014 season, and the Giants were playing the Lions in the first game. And there I was, on top of Sue B on that 7th floor watching the game. Now, first years, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah? So there I was, totally focused. The Giants were driving, they were on the 42-yard line, and I said, Eli, please don't throw into triple coverage, please don't throw. And now, the response I got, it was really something. Trust me. Wow, Jackie, you know so much. At my ripe age of 18, I thought this was a compliment. And you know what I did? I just continued to watch, continued to analyze and pay attention. And I thought, boy, these commentators, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Oh, but that comment, it drove me crazy. You know, it made me feel like I struck out in the bottom of the 9th, down a run with a 3-2 count, and with the bases loaded, no less. It made me feel like how we all do in middle school, high school, and even now. You know what I'm talking about. Feeling like you don't belong. So women aren't expected to have an admiration with sports. You know, after this moment, I finally understood how being a minority at a sports broadcasting camp made me feel. Look, I was 14 and there were 3 of us out of 40 other teenagers. All of this frustration, this intense confusion, tension in my mind prompted the birth of a voice. A voice that would learn all that it could and say all that it could about those who were told they either knew too much or those who were told that they could play like that. For instance, Ryan Lochte, champion swimmer, simultaneous super tool,
said that Katie Ledecky swims like a guy. Shall we talk about why that is just so backwards?
But you know what? Instead of that, why don't we bring Ryan Lochte in for some comment? Yeah, you know, it wasn't meant to be a negative thing. Like, she swims like a guy. It's her stroke. It's the way she swims in the water. You know, she's so strong in the water. It's because of all the Ryan Lochtes in the world that this voice manifested. A voice which would dive into a sea of testosterone. A voice with chutzpah. I my responsibility to make others aware of the women that I had looked up to for so long, and to talk about their experience, the female experience. What is it like for women in male spaces, such as the sports world? Well, my mission was simple. It wasn't free of opposition or any challenges. So I read a report from the Boston Globe, and it talked about how ESPN gave women pay cuts upon returning from maternity leave. And I'm sure you all know about the epic Twitter battle between Jemele Hill and the President of the United States. I mean, this thing got so intense, I thought they were gonna start going into a battle Game of Thrones style. Come on. These women are berated on Twitter and questioned for doing their jobs. You're nagging like a wife on TV today. I hope your dog gets run over by a car, you bitch. And I hope your boyfriend beats you. These are some of the daily hate messages that Sarah Spain, a sports journalist from Chicago, gets every single day. It's just not fair, isn't it? Like, come on. Once again, another instance where the word female is branded as something inferior. While all of that unequal treatment just grinds my gears and even makes my voice afraid and worried, do you know what keeps me going? Do you know what keeps me being a fan? Do you want to guess? No. It's you. It's all of the women here at UR, such as Al Leslie when she scores 20 points a game. Or when Nancy Bonsbach scores the winning goal for field hockey. Let's talk about these women, shall we? So, this year, our field hockey team made it to their third NCAA Division III tournament. That's pretty impressive. Also, Al Leslie shot 83.5% from the free throw line, which currently supersedes LeBron James's percentage. Right, let's also talk about our women's rugby team. And they also have to deflect comments about their own legitimacy. People say, there's a women's team? Come on, they're ranked 8th in the nation, those Sledgehammers. Out of around 100 other teams. And then there's Southside, where the Sledgehammers play, and also our women's varsity softball team plays there as well. You guys should make the trek and go see these women. They've had 10 straight winning seasons. That's pretty remarkable. So give them all a round of applause right now. So there's one thing that I think about though, and that's the attendance that all of our women's teams amass here at U of R. And it just makes me sigh. But there was one time at work, and I do color commentary and play-by-play for some of our sports teams, when I thought for once people would stay for the women's game. But of course, I was disappointed. So nationally, we have a women's soccer team, which is still fighting for equal pay. We also, well, that team, do you think they deserve that after playing in the most watched soccer game in American history? Also, Women have persisted. 160 women came forward against sexual predator and gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar for his abuse of power over the past 2 decades. All right. Also, the WNBA is around 70% black. And you know, they started standing up for hashtag Black Lives Matter way before Colin Kaepernick. So when should Tina Charles, the star forward for the New York Liberty, receive her Muhammad Ali Legacy Award? When should that happen, guys? Come on. These women are heroes, and they are proud to kick ass on the field and on the court. And whenever I go on a rant with sports fans or with athletes about equality in sports, you know the one counter argument I'm given? It's biology. They say, well, men are faster, you know, they've got more muscle, and they're stronger. Aha! That word, strong! We've met it again. Remember that word? Right. So, you know, I always think, so what defines the female experience in sports? If anything, I think it's that word, strong. Yeah. So, if it's in front of the camera or on the court, any woman who aspires to be involved in this world of sports is as strong as hell. Our love for what we do keeps the dream alive, and that is a love which cannot be silenced. My voice and its responsibility will not back down. My voice is strong. So, with that in mind, I'd like to thank my father and all of those who believe that just because I'm a female doesn't mean I can't tell you why I'd rather have a pitcher who, yeah, you guessed it, who can pitch a knuckle curve.